Badass of the Week is produced by High Five Content and 7 Bucks Productions. March 11, 2011. The city of Ishinomaki, Japan has been transformed into an apocalyptic wasteland of black, swirling water, smashed houses, and burning debris. A colossal 30-foot tsunami has slammed into the coastline, burying entire neighborhoods under fathoms of freezing, mud-choked ocean. Searching through the horrific inundation, staring at the spot where his home used to stand, is 43-year-old Hideaki Akaiwa. Hideaki's neighborhood is completely submerged under 10 feet of ocean water. Search and rescue crews haven't arrived yet, blocked by ruined roads and fires. But Hideaki's wife, Hiroko, may be trapped inside their flooded house, somewhere beneath that dark, freezing surface. Most people would collapse in despair. Most people would wait for help. Hideaki Akaiwa bought a wetsuit, pair of goggles, and a survival knife, and didn't wait for anyone. He dove straight into the freezing, oil-slicked floodwaters. Ignoring the sharp, twisted wreckage, the floating cars, and the deadly electrical wires lurking beneath the surface, Akaiwa kicks his way through the submerged streets of his ruined hometown until he reaches his neighborhood. But when he gets there, horror sets in. Hideaki's house is completely underwater, buried up to the roofline. Shock gives way to sheer desperation. Is his beloved Hiroko still in there? He doesn't know, but he has to check. So, taking a deep breath, Hideaki Akaiwa dives beneath the surface into the pitch-black, drowned remains of his home, feeling his way through the suffocating darkness in a frantic, desperate search to see if the love of his life is still inside. Hello, and welcome back to Badass of the Week, the show where we tell the badass history of badasses. My name is Ben Thompson, and we are joined once again by badass co-host, producer, badass human being, Andrew Jacobs. Andrew, welcome back to the show.
I like it. My titles keep adding on and increasing. The
Yes.
breaker of chains,
Yeah, that's it. We keep having to do more and more stuff for the show and getting more and more titles. You have more than me, I think.
On. Oh, yeah. Well, you always do the introductions, so that's the thing. Someone's got to introduce you one of these times.
Yeah, you could do the open next week if you want.
I'm gonna be like,
That's weird. It's one of the harder things that like I didn't expect when we started doing this. It's one thing to like tell the stories out loud, but doing that bit where you introduce yourself or introduce the show, it sounds easy when you hear other people do it for their shows. But I remember the first time I had a guest on, we got to the end and I didn't do any of the stuff of like, don't forget to like, or to tell people where they can find you online. Yeah. Where's your social media? I was just like, okay, thanks. Bye. Bye guys, later. Stop record.
I remember that.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right.
No,
that's right.
I've got the easy job in this. It's where I get to kind of just react.
Yes.
So it's nice.
Yeah. Is that the plan for today? Because we have a pretty amazing story of badass heroism from the 2011 Japanese tsunami. So sometimes you're well-versed, sometimes it's the first time hearing it. How well-versed are you in the story of Hideaki Akaiwa?
So I like to describe oftentimes my role in our podcast when I'm on air as coming in from the bullpen. So it's one of these things where I'm always coming in being like, what's the situation? How many outs we got going? Who's hitting? I don't know. So it's always a little bit of a surprise. I will say I do kind of know his story because it's incredible. It's awesome. So I know a little bit about his story, but I think I think you are going to surprise me. I can say, and this may lead into it, is like I've seen all those videos of that earthquake and like the tsunami that happened out, like is some of the most insane footage
Right.
you'll ever see in your life.
There's a video from that I just remember. It was like a dude taking a video of the boats kind of flopping around. Like the water's really, really big waves and the boats are kind of bouncing around. Then the boats start to like, the video's like 8 minutes. And in that 8 minutes, like the boats start to flip. Then they come onto the land and then he's running up these stairs. He's on top of a building and the entire street floods. The cars start getting lifted up off the ground from the water. And then suddenly he's like, I don't even know if this building I'm on is high enough. And the video is like, it's like 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so fast the way the water comes in and how insane the tsunami is.
Well, the video I've seen is like similar videos of like, you see like a car driving and all of a sudden there's water and they like start to turn around and go the other way. And you're like, oh my, like, yeah, it's stunning footage, which actually makes me think, I mean, it's unfortunately timely, but in the last month or so, we've had major giant earthquakes in both Venezuela and Colombia. And, you know, always that footage is always someone living in LA who's experienced an earthquake now and then. It's always like, man, yeah, your adrenaline really
right. You know, it's the thing that's always been scary to me. I'm from Florida, and Florida, people are scared of hurricanes, but hurricanes are easier because you know that the hurricane is coming. You know, you're prepared for it. I'm up in Seattle, and in Seattle, in theory, we get earthquakes. I'm not going to jinx myself or anything. We're at the top of the San Andreas Fault. We're due for a big one, but I haven't lived through one, knock on wood. But it scares me. The idea of it's scary.
I will say I was in this room in a Zoom meeting with someone when an earthquake hit here, and the guy on the other end like watched me, like I was like, oh, you know, like freak out. You know, I'm like, my house is like 100 years old. I'm like, what is about to happen? This thing coming down on me. I was like, I like came back. I'm like, you know, on video, I'm like, sorry about that. So, you know,
if that happened on an episode, Andrew, would we keep it in? We'd roll with it.
You have to.
We'd have to, yeah. No matter how unbadass we look reacting to an earthquake.
Well, you would just be sitting there being like, what the hell is he doing? What the hell's going on? Because that is what it does look like. You can't tell, you know, unless it's super big and everything's swaying, but more it's just like a...
Like 70s Star Trek when the ship's getting attacked.
Yeah. That's pretty much, so...
We are going to take a guy who did not react like that when the earthquake happened and did not react like that car that turned away. We are going to tell a story of a guy who stared down a very dangerous earthquake, a very dangerous tsunami, and decided, I'm going to blow past the police barricades and dive into this literally to see how many people I can save. So when we come back, we are going to tell the story of Hideaki Akaiwa, and this is going to be a wild ride. So please stay with us. All right, welcome back to Badass of the Week. I am here with producer Andrew Jacobs, and we are going to be talking about the earthquake that hit Japan in March of 2011. So the date here is March 11, 2011. And there is a 9.0 earthquake off the coast of Japan that creates a tsunami. And I guess this is 15 years ago now, so we can't assume that everybody listening to this podcast remembers this or remembers the footage of it. And so, Andrew, like you said, it's definitely worth looking this up because there is high definition footage of this tsunami rolling in. And we're talking about waters that rose 20 to 24 feet in a matter of minutes.
I mean, just before even the tsunami, just the earthquake itself, like a 9.0 is insane. And when we talk about like earthquakes, you know, I think I've experienced like a 7.2, very, very big. And so you're like, a 9.0 is not like, you know, 20% bigger. it's like exponentially, like it's like hundreds of times like more powerful.
Oh, geez.
The Richter scale doesn't work like, like little inching up.
Is that a
like,
7 or a 6? I don't know. Where'd you put that?
Yeah. It like each time, each one bigger is like exponentially larger.
Wow.
So I remember seeing the videos of like, inside like skyscrapers where it's just like, swaying. Yeah. Go check it out. That footage will make you afraid of earthquakes. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just amazing to watch, and terrifying. And this was a terrifying experience for the people of Japan. The town we are talking about today is Ishinomaki, which is on the coast. The earthquake, as you said, caused destruction throughout the country. Famously, the Fukushima nuclear reactor ruptured. There's a whole story a whole episode we can do about the people that had to repair that, and we will talk about that in the future. But the town that we begin in our story is Ishinomaki, which is inside of a difficult geographic area for earthquakes. It's built on a low-lying river delta anchored by the mouth of the Kitakami River. Now, this is a bad place to be in a tsunami because the river delta acts as a funnel for these 20 to 24 foot waves, water surges that just go right over whatever coastal bulwarks are there, and they completely flood the city. It's like irrigation for the tsunami to just completely devastate the city. So in a matter of minutes, entire neighborhoods are swallowed up by 8 to 10 feet of water. And this is not clean ocean water. This is this is seawater mixed with coastal mud, shattered timber from all of the trees that are being destroyed in the process.
Cars, pieces of buildings.
Yes, shipping containers are floating in this stuff, uprooted utility poles. You've got. I
think in like tsunamis, if you're caught in one, it's not that you typically drown. It's that typically it's the debris that is you're
crushed by debris, or you're killed. You're killed by blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
And not to mention there are rip currents and things that are causing trouble here. And on top of that, one thing that I think doesn't necessarily always come through when you watch these videos or when you think about this tsunami is that this is March of 2011 and it is cold. It is very, very cold. The water is cold. It snows the day after the tsunami, and for the next couple of days it snows. So this is not swimming on the beach, and this is the Pacific Ocean in winter, just demolishing your city. It carries away residential blocks. It turns the streets into just black, freezing aquatic wasteland. It kills the power. There's no light. There's nothing. Everything is destroyed. The pre-disaster population of the city is 160,000. Within the first couple of days, there are 3,400 confirmed dead or missing that are never recovered. 1 out of every 47 people in the city is killed by this disaster. It is one of the hardest hit townships in the entire country. And within that city of 160,000, it's the coastal neighborhoods that get hit the worst, of course. Yeah. And you run into these riverfront neighborhoods that were idyllic, but now they are demolished. No power, no clean water, no telecommunications. Your cell phone doesn't work. Your landline doesn't work if you still have one of those. The sewer lines rupture, so all that's coming up into the water. The city
no clean water to drink.
No clean water to drink.
It's hard to, like, even if you do survive the initial event, if you're there, it's not great.
No, it's like that. What was that movie with the ice, where the disaster movie with the ice? I can't remember now, but it's bad. It's bad news.
The Day After Tomorrow?
The Day After Tomorrow. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
A quick aside on that. I do appreciate in that movie, he like holds up in the New York Public Library where apparently there's a fireplace and he burns the books for warmth. I don't think there's a fireplace in the New York Public Library, but if I'm wrong, guess, please let me know. I want to know. Doesn't seem like a good idea to have a fireplace in a public library.
In the library? No, it seems
Like
bad.
that.
Yeah.
Fire, books, anyway.
Well, in the 17th century, that's how they used to read the books. They would throw one book into the fire and use that light to read the other book.
I mean, there's no other options.
Yeah, the only way to read all the passages of the Bible was to burn every other book in the library. So you had light to do it.
Yeah, because you can't read during the day.
Can't read during the day. No, that's craziness.
Yeah.
You got to work. You got to plow the field.
That's true. Okay, so things are bad.
Things are bad. Yes. And there is no help coming. Emergency services are not only uncontactable, but overwhelmed. You can't get a rescue boat in there. You can't get boats don't go in this stuff. It's too dangerous. There's all like every square foot has a Titanic destroying iceberg waiting underneath to rip your boat to shreds. And yeah, there's no help coming. There's no helicopters coming. There's no rescue boats. Nothing like that. Coast Guard's not going to help you. These people are stuck.
I mean, there's like a nuclear emergency happening down the road that,
right. That demands a lot of attention. Yeah. Tokyo is also underwater, right? Like there's a lot of stuff happening here. And you can't expect that you're going to be a priority here.
Yeah.
This is where we meet Hideaki Akaiwa. He is 43 years old. He's a regular dude who lives in this town. He lives in the coastal neighborhood because he's a surfer and he loves surfing. He wants to be around the ocean. He wants to be walking distance from the sea so that in the summer months when you have nice weather, you can go out and go surfing. He has experience with open waves. He does not have experience swimming or surfing around floating power lines and utility poles and collapsing houses and debris.
A little different.
He is not home when this happens. He's at work. He's working on the afternoon of March 11th. He's miles away from his home and he feels the earthquake. He probably reacts the same way that you did, running around trying to figure out what's going on. The earthquake stops. He's like, oh, I got to call my wife, make sure everything's okay back home. Tries to call, phone goes straight to voicemail. His wife, Hiroko, can't get a hold of her. All services are down. So he does, what's the natural thing here?
Gonna go home, right?
Gotta go home. I can check out my wife. My mom's there. My wife's there. We got to go figure out what's up. So he gets back home and he hurries home as fast as he can. He drives as far as he can get. When the roads are blocked off or demolished, he gets out and proceeds on foot. He gets back towards his home district and he's on the kind of the high grounds overlooking his city and his neighborhood, and everything is underwater. 10 feet plus ice cold rushing water, churning like whirlpools, rapids that are cluttered with debris of just junk that came in, boats and cars and stuff from people's houses and
floating around. Yeah.
Just debris. Was it jetsam, flotsam? What? It's everything.
Yes. That sounds right.
Yes. So he's like, there's some emergency workers and police there blocking the road off so people don't go over there. Rescue teams can't get in. The zone's totally locked down because it's a death trap. You can't get in there. You'll die. No rescue swimmer is going to go in there. No boats are going to go in there. He's like, I got to go. My wife's in there. And they're like, no, you're not going. Nobody's going in there. It's blocked off. We'll figure something out. But there's tape. There's flashing yellow and orange lights. There's barricades. There's police. Don't go in there. He's like sitting there watching, and he's like, this is within a couple of hours of the disaster, and he's sitting there looking at his house, and he's like, I can't wait for this, right? Like I got to know what's going on at home. So he decides to do something that is unexpected and that I think is unique to Hideaki Akaiwa. He says, I'm going to go in and I'm going to check on my family and see if I can find Hiroko. Now, he's got hundreds of yards, hundreds of meters to swim through. He's not close to his house. So this is a place that emergency crews, professionally trained military divers aren't going to go. He's like, all right, I'm gonna figure something out. So he goes to an old dive shop that he remembers, and he gets a wetsuit and some goggles, and he gets a scuba tank.
I mean, this is like that scene in the movie. They're like, "We need supplies," and then like, they break into some local, like, I guess it happens in real life. Real life inspired what happens in the movies, but it awfully convenient that there's a dive shop with all.
Well, he knows where they are because he's a surfer,
montage
and he's a swimmer
time,
and stuff, right? Yeah, he knows how to scuba dive. He knows where these places are because he likes this kind of thing. Yeah. He goes there. It's busted. He gets the stuff that he needs. He later goes back and pays for it because he didn't want to just steal the stuff. He goes back and pays for it, of course. Yeah. And so he's like, he puts on the wetsuit, and this is not a dry suit. This is a wetsuit, right? And this is freezing cold water. So he puts on the goggles and the wetsuit, and he decides he's going to swim to his house to go check on his family. And this guy is, he's a strong swimmer. He's a surfer. He's a deep water. He's comfortable swimming out in deep water. But this is frozen snowmelt. This is so full of silt and dirt that you can't see anything. Even with the goggles, you look underwater, you can't see anything. It's too murky. So there's no visibility, and it's completely full of things that are there to kill you. Things that can kill you and cut your wetsuit and damage you and injure you. The freezing cold temperatures are like, if you ever try to swim in cold water, it is no fun. You're talking hypothermia. It's hard to maintain your breath. It's hard to maintain your strength. Your muscles get cramped and locked up. Not to mention that, like, there's jagged strips of metal from like roof shingles, like ripped off metal roof bits and stuff under there, like floating guillotines or something.
Sharks and rusty nails.
Yes. Sharks and rusty nails. That's a great way to put it. Uprooted trees, submerged cars, just swimming through a minefield, like almost literally. And like I said, the problem isn't necessarily, if the hypothermia doesn't kill him, he is not going to drown. He might not drown, but he will get crushed by something or smashed by something, or kick a power line, kick a downed power line that's like pouring electricity into the water around you. He's swimming as hard as he can against literally a tsunami, where he can't see anything and he can just head on a tree at any moment that's coming towards him. It feels like a video game level, honestly, like an old Atari game or something, where you're swimming and there's stuff coming at you and you got to get out of the way of it.
Direction. Yeah.
And so he swims through his old neighborhood. He's swimming up near the surface so he can peek his head up and look out at where he's going. But he eventually kind of can kind of recognize enough. And the water is above the street signs in his neighborhood. So he can't follow that. He's just trying to go by landmarks of like whatever little bits of building he can see up from atop the water. It's not destroyed. He swims back to find to his neighborhood. His house is completely submerged. There are 3 meters of water inside of his structure, which is like 10 feet, right? And he's like, all right, I got to figure out what's going on here. I've got to check out my family. I've got to see if my wife's in there. So he swims up to the house, like has to dive down under the waves, under the water to get there. He can't see anything, so he's got to feel around with his hands to try to feel what's going on. He finds a second-story window and he's able to pop it open and swim into his old house. And like he's basically doing this blindfolded because all he's seeing is he can barely see his hand in front of his face. He's just feeling around to try to remember, okay, that's the living room, that's the hallway. He keeps swimming and he finds this closed door finds the door to his bedroom's closed. He opens it up on the upper floor, and there's a room that has this tiny little pocket of air in there. And his wife, Hiroko, is in there. And she's she's wearing like just the clothes she would have been wearing around the house that day, right? She's freezing. She's been there for hours. She's almost out of breathable air. She's had no food or water, and she's freezing to death. And there's water around her in every direction.
You
right?
always see like in like movies, like when like there's like a boat sinking and they're like at the top, they're in the compartment and they're like breathing the air right at the top. You always think of that like, yeah. Like in a boat, of course. You never think about like drowning like in your house.
Right. Yeah. This is not an Indiana Jones trap. This is like your living room, and you swim up to the top of your living room and you're like, oh shit, I should have got that cobweb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's basically what's happening here. He has to then kind of tries to relax her, like, okay, I'm here. We're going to get you out of here. Don't worry about it. She has to hold her breath, and he's got to swim her out of there. So he has to navigate her back out through the way he came, blind, and without getting turned around and drowning both of them. He gets her out of the house. They get up to the surface where they can get some air, but he's still got to swim back the way he came, which is still dangerous. He's going with the current now, so he's going a little faster, I guess, but still not ideal. And he's carrying another human being who is like mostly unconscious. So this is rescue swimming backwards. This is very, very difficult what he's doing after having survived an earthquake to boot. But he does it. He swims back to the police. He's able to get her medical care right away. She survives and is brought back to health. They interview
story
him.
over, right?
Story over, yeah. They interview him. The news gets word of this, and they interview him, and they're talking because the news is they're recording this, and they see this dude kind of come up out of the water with like his wife and everything, and they're like, "Oh my god, what's this guy's deal?" They ask him the story, like, "Why would you do that? Why would you scuba dive through like a post-apocalyptic tsunami hellscape wasteland?" And the quote he gives is great. He says, "She's very important to me." That's it.
I mean, that is matter of fact.
No, she's important to me. I want to go get her. Make sure she didn't drown. But okay, like you said, in the Hollywood version, this is the credits roll, and he's like, "All right, I did it. I rescued my wife. We're good." But then he kind of things start to settle down. He realizes she can be okay. There's more and more people coming in, and he's thinking about it. And he's like, "Look, has anybody seen my mom? Like, she was supposed to. She's in a different neighborhood that didn't get flooded as bad. But like, has anybody seen her? Nobody's come across her yet."
This man also had 10 sisters, 5 brothers, 13 aunts.
That's the video game version.
Yeah.
That's the modern open world video game version now. Like,
don't forget about grandma.
You've got to save 12. You've got to save 12 members of your family to level up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to a couple of the local evacuation centers where she should have been, and she's not there. His elderly mother is unaccounted for. And so he's got to go back. Yeah. And we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that rescue mission. In the meantime, we do have before we go to our break, I should say we do have a Patreon. If you're interested in that, you can get ad-free versions of our episodes. You don't have to listen to the commercials. You can sit here and smile knowingly while we do our ad break intros, and you can be like, I'm not listening to that. Or we're also doing video episodes. So if you want to watch Andrew run around like a maniac in the middle of an earthquake, we can
tune in.
Yeah, we can pretend that that's happening.
Yeah,
we can simulate that for you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Badass of the Week. I am here with producer Andrew Jacobs, and we are back in Ishinomaki, Japan, March 2011. Now, Hideaki Akaiwa has just completed this dramatic rescue of his wife from this flooded building. He broke through a police barricade to scuba dive through a tsunami to rescue his wife. That's badass. Yeah. But he's back now, and it's been 4 days since the disaster, and he's realizing that his mother is still not at any of the centers for people who have survived this disaster. And he's thinking, okay, what? I have to know if she's okay or not. I got to go check on her. She's in an area that's not as completely submerged as his neighborhood, but it's still it's still underwater. And so he starts to go look for her. He brings his wetsuit and his goggles. He doesn't bring his scuba tank this time, but he heads into this part of the town that hasn't been cleared yet. The rescue workers are working their way through trying to save people, but there are certain areas like they've got to have some sort of plan. They've got to follow some sort of
process,
grid.
Of course.
Right. And his mom's neighborhood is further down the list. Yeah. So he starts wading through water. He starts walking through this flood water, and he says it gets up to his neck at some point. It starts to get up to like his eyes. He's starting to swim. And he finds the house where his mom lives, and he's going through all the same. I'm not going to reiterate all of the hazards, but it's the similar hazards, and it's just as dangerous 4 days after as it was the day it happened. He finds the house where his mother lives, and it's flooded. So he, of course, swims in there and breaks into like one of the upper floors, where he finds his mother is still alive. She's not underwater like Hiroko was. She is trapped on the second floor, but the water hasn't gotten up to where she is yet. But she's stuck there. She can't get out. She's isolated. She hasn't had any food or water for 4 days. She's freezing, and she's elderly. He's 43 and she's his mom. So minimum like mid 60s, probably older than that. And not to call 60-year-old people elderly, but like, you know what I mean? Like, she's probably
60
much
years
older.
old and no food or water for 4 days. That'll do it.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm Hideaki Akaiwa's age, and I can't go without food or water for 4 days. I get really cranky.
Well, like 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. And so he keeps going, and he finds her. She's been stranded here, and against all odds, he once again is able to pull her out. He pulls her from the wreckage. He gets her onto a thing that floats. Gets her on like a homemade raft, basically, and he swims her out of the tsunami. Now he's pulled his wife out from being half submerged. He hunts down his mother 4 days later, pulls her out of there. Like you said, he doesn't have any.
Imagine this is a scenario. His wife and his mom are like, you two, they
hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're good, you made it.
Yeah, your mother-in-law. Yeah, they probably.
You guys wait.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
His wife's like, what about my mom?
Yeah, right. Well, he doesn't give up. He doesn't have any more immediate relatives that he needs to rescue, but he does kind of become this one-man emergency response unit. He gets on a bicycle. He's got his wetsuit. He's got his bicycle. He's got his goggles. He's got a backpack with some first aid gear, a pocket knife, and a flashlight. And like I said, there's no power or anything. He's going around day and night. He's checking on his neighbors. He's pulling people out of wreckage. We don't have any more details of dramatic rescues or like a count of how many people he has rescued. But he doesn't let the city succumb to the disaster. And he's an active part of the response teams that are rescuing survivors and getting medical attention to people. And that's the story.
Do we know how many people, other people he might have saved?
He's not credited with, like, we don't have any names or numbers for the number of people that he rescued after this. We know that he was working with the rescue teams, but we don't have any information on names or numbers of other people he may have rescued. So I feel like it was probably not zero, but he might not have done it solo either.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, and I guess he obviously survived. It's one of those things where you always think about like that water, especially after days. It's not clean stuff. It's not clean. It's not good to be swimming in.
No, it's not good for you. Yeah, you definitely got to take a shower when you get out of there. Which you don't have because there's no running water in the city.
Drinking, injecting bleach into your veins.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No, don't do that. But I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
This guy single-handedly against professional orders swam into a tsunami to rescue his wife and his mom from certain death. And you look at the disaster in Ishinomaki, just this one town, 3,400 people lost. There are tens of thousands of homes swept off the map, millions of dollars in damages, a 20-foot wall of water. It's easy to get caught up in the statistics of these numbers, but Akaiwa, he showed that like one person can make a difference, and instead of 3,402, it was 3,400 people. And that's a pretty powerful message in a big tragedy like that.
Well, it's interesting. It kind of reminds me, we can swerve into another badass story for a second. One that I don't think we'll be doing a whole episode on, but I assume you saw that rescue in Santa Cruz, the lifeguard who rescued the kid. Do you see that video?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so there's like something to be said for like, on the one hand, in a situation like this, like you saw other people trying to run in and help the kid. And it's one of those things where a lot of times the correct answer is like, no, and because now like you random person are about to become another person who needs to be rescued. Right. And so like, that's always the danger, in situations like this, the story we just told, and that beach rescue. But on the other hand, sometimes you have folks like our guy here today who are capable in ways that your average Joe isn't.
Yes, that's a really good point, because somebody else goes in to try to rescue his wife with scuba gear, doesn't know how to scuba dive, is not a strong swimmer, is not a surfer. Maybe now you have 2 drowning people instead of one.
Yeah.
And you're right. It requires not just bravery, but also skill and talent and strength.
Yeah. So, I think like it's, if you aren't, it's one of those things like incredibly badass, but sometimes the badass thing to also do is to let the to stay out of the way of the people who are the pros who can do it.
Go get pros, go get a professional help and get out of their way. Let them do their job.
Yeah. But it's pretty awesome when someone's like, nope, I can do this. I know how to do this. They cross that police barricade. Gotta get your wife, gotta get your mother. They are important.
They're very important to me.
They're very important.
That's a great message. That's a great badass lesson, is like, yes, definitely, being brave is important, but also having the understanding your own limitations.
Yeah. So what happens? Are they still married? Do they have kids? I
like to think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any follow-up stuff on them. I wasn't able to find any like more recent, and this is 15 years ago, so I haven't found any more recent updates on them. But but in the movie version, they row off into the sunset in a rowboat or something. Yeah,
of course.
And it's
they're on a beautiful beach, and it's warm, and they're swimming, and with kids, like I said, kids. And
he's like, finally get to go surfing again.
Yeah, he's surfing and all that good
Grandma's
stuff.
surfing.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So that's the story. That's Hideaki Akaiwa and the 2011 tsunami. Andrew, thanks so much for coming on and coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Close this one out with me.
For sure.
And thanks to all you out there for listening. We do these episodes every week. Like we said, there's video episodes, there's Patreon episodes, there's Patreon ad-free episodes, or you can just consume podcast media the old-fashioned way. We're always happy to have you. We do appreciate it when you like our show and subscribe and leave us nice reviews. So if you want to do that, we're more than happy to have it. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks to you guys. We will see you again next week with another amazing badass.
Stay badass.
Badass of the Week is produced by High Five Content and $7 Productions. Executive producers are Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, Andrew Jacobs, Hiram Garcia, Brian Gewirtz, Frankie Chaparino, and of course, me, Ben Thompson. Writing is by me and my semi-regular but always awesome co-host, Dr. Patricia Larish. Story editing by Ian Jacobs. Our mixing, music, and sound design is done by the incomparable Jude Brewer. Production support by Jean McGale-Waite. Badass of the Week is based on my website, badassoftheweek.com, where you can read all sorts of stories about other badasses. If you want to reach out with questions or ideas, you can email us at badasspodcast@badassoftheweek.com. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, follow, listen, tell your friends, and tell your enemies. And please leave us a review. If you want to support Badass of the Week, please check out our Patreon page. We'll be back next week with another one.